Hey Jack Squad, how's everyone doing? Hope all is well, and I hope you're making it happen for yourself. You got to make it happen for yourself. That's so very important. Listen, as you all know, or maybe you don't know, I am in the process of writing my book. I am about 1/3 the way finished. And so what I would like to do from time to time is read excerpts from my book and, so you all can be interested and excited when it comes out, right? And feel free to comment. Feel free to comment. Feel free to say whatever you want to say as long as it's respectful, okay? This is my life that I'm writing about. And so I just want to read you a little excerpt and then talk about it a little bit, okay? That's what I'm going to do in this video. So now let's see, where am I at? Growing up, it never occurred to me, where is my mother? Let me take these off. I do not know why, and maybe because you cannot miss what you never had. I am glad that happiness is my first memory and not trauma. Unbeknownst to me, that would come later. I have always been an emotionally happy person, meaning I am always happy, but I'm very sensitive. Because I was what I deemed in my head as an outsider, I never showed any other emotion but happiness for fear of being taken back to the unknown. So I have memories at 2 years old, and that will be discussed in my book. I didn't know that if they were memories or they were dreams, but they were recurring, right? I now know that they were memories and not dreams. My first memory in my first foster home was a happy one. Matter of fact, it was always happy times with this family. Always happy times, right? You have to, read the book to learn more. But it was always happy times with this family. And as I stated, I'm glad that that was my first memory and not trauma. Because I was a foster child. I hate that word foster. I hate it. I very seldom use it. I'm using it now because I'm writing a book and I have a YouTube channel and I'll be discussing things. I never use that word. And as a child, hearing the word made me cringe, right? I hate that word. I hate foster child, right? Because to me, it has a negative connotation. It means you over there, everybody else over here. That's the way I felt, right? Growing up, of course, I made friends and all of that, and that made me feel better, like my YouTube family does, right? But growing up as a foster child can create a lot of insecurities, right? A lot of insecurities. And you have to learn how to overcome them. Many people don't. Many people don't. I am blessed, and I may have some idiosyncrasies and some weirdness to myself, but for the most part, I am blessed to, number one, not what's the word I want to use? Not suffer outwardly from a lot of traumas that I have dealt with, right? And I believe that's because of my faith in God, right? I was introduced to God at a very early age in my first foster family. Ironically, my real father was a pastor, had a church that's still standing in Cleveland, Ohio, okay? My faith is what carried me. And you all will hear me say a lot of times, you'll hear me talk about God, you'll hear me talk about church, you'll hear me talk about prayer. I do funny stuff, I cuss, I do all the things. But you will hear me speak of that because that was so very, very important in my life, right? Without that, I don't believe I'll be sitting here like this right now. I probably have one eye, a broke leg, bad feet, all kind of ailments and situations, right? But it was my knowing right from wrong that got me through, right? So, guys, I would appreciate if you all would like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I am a relatively new YouTuber, and so, you know, I need your support, right? But like I said, I'll be reading excerpts and I'll go into details. And because this is my first time doing this right now, I may think of another format, but I just wanted to get this out there. Like I said, feel free to comment. Feel free to ask questions. I welcome your comments. I welcome your interest, right? Because this is a topic that is not very seldomly discussed. And people will say, you know, there's a lot of things that's going on in the world that they don't talk about, and being a foster child is one of them. And the horrors, and that may be why people don't talk about it, the horrors of being in a foster home, the horrors of having to deal with life sometimes pretty much by yourself, right? You know, as a kid, you go home, you hurt yourself, you go tell your mama and your daddy, they kiss it and blow it and make it feel better, right? When you're in a foster home, a lot of times, my situation, wasn't nobody there to do that. I had to handle that myself. Whatever it was, I had to handle it myself, right? And yes, it will harden you. Not that it's purposeful, because my shell is hard. My insides is like a marshmallow. Now, if y'all tell somebody that, I'm gonna have to kill you. But, you know, you have to get into the shell. You have to get into it. You have to get into it, right? Break into the inner sanctum, because most foster children, you know, even though we're grown, whatever you deal with as a child, it carries with you as an adult unless you get it resolved. And some things I just believe can't get resolved. You just have to learn how to deal with it. You can't negate the fact, you can't take it back. There wasn't nobody at home to give you a hug and a kiss, make sure you had a meal, tell you they love you. You just didn't have that. So I don't, you know, I'm an advocate for therapy. Yes, I am. I just don't know where it really fits in my life at this point in my life, right? I believe I needed it years ago. You know, I believe that. I've tried it recently. As if you're a Jack Squad member, you know that I tried it recently. And I'll go into details later as to why I stopped. Nothing was wrong with my therapist. She was a very lovely young lady. Very lovely young lady. This is my belief, and this is my belief. There are some horrors, right? Some traumas that may not be able to be resolved. I don't care how many degrees you have and how long you went to school. If you have not experienced these things, it's hard. It's very difficult. And I learned to not even tell people. This is why I don't tell people, because nobody will understand. No one will understand. I'm talking about it now because I have a platform to talk about it, and it's time, and I feel that it's time. I'm a stuffer. I keep everything to me. But with YouTube and my subscribers, I've learned to open up, right? And I've learned that opening up makes me feel better, right? Because I have close friends that don't know the traumas that I went through. They just see me go, they seen something, don't know what it was, and see me come out on the other side, right? So I'm talking about it now because I'm writing a book, and I think it's very therapeutic for myself, and I hope along this journey that I am able to help someone else, because there is hope. There is hope, right? And you may, let me just put this out here, for any foster children watching, anybody that's been a foster child and you're an adult now, you may always have trauma. That's what you have to come to grips with. You may always, not trauma, you may always feel a way and have triggers, right? It's what you do with them and how you deal with whatever is going on in your life. It doesn't always have to be negative. You don't have to deal with it negatively. That comes the power of prayer and having a relationship with God, right? Get you a good church home, you know, a good group of people. I don't care if you're Muslim, Buddhist, Catholic, Baptist, whatever you are, get with it. You know, you need a support system. And a support system can be whoever you choose it to be, right? Whoever supports you is your system, near and far, right? So, like I said, this series called I Was a Foster Child. I will be talking about, I'm not quite sure how often, once a week, maybe, probably. Depends on the feedback I get. Because I'm just going to be reading excerpts from my book and discussing it. And like I said, feel free to comment and ask questions, right? I'm doing this because it needs to be talked about. I have friends that I've had all of my life and don't know what all I went through because I keep it to myself, right? And you learn to keep things to yourself when you ain't got nobody else to tell but God. You keep it to yourself, right? So again, guys, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are, okay? All right.